Welcome to the Manifestation Babe podcast. My name is Catherine Zinkina, and I'm a manifestation expert, master mindset coach, and multiple seven-figure entrepreneur. I'm obsessed with helping you achieve everything that you once thought was impossible. If you're looking to massively up-level your life, your finances, your relationships, your productivity and success, then you have come to the right place. My goal in this podcast is to help you see the infinite potential within yourself to be, do, and have anything that your heart desires. Think of this podcast as your weekly dose of mindset development to help you maximize who you are and where you're going. Leave it to me to provide you with the tools, the resources, the strategies, and teachings that you need to manifest a reality wilder than your wildest dreams. I know we're about to have so much fun together, so thank you so much for pushing play today, and now let's begin. Hey, gorgeous souls, it is Catherine, and welcome back to the Manifestation Babe podcast. First of all, I'm so grateful that you came to this episode and that you pushed play today. I am just absolutely loving creating episodes for you guys. So every single bit of support and every single download and every single share and every single tag in your Insta stories and all that good stuff means the world to me. Today, I want to share with you an epiphany that I recently had. I was in Mammoth about a week ago, and I was intending on recording this episode back then, but you guys know skiing kind of overtook my priorities that day, and I decided to have fun instead of locking myself in the hotel room and recording a podcast. But now that I am in work mode today, I decided to record it and share with you this very, very awesome, freeing, liberating epiphany that will turn you into a literal desire magnet if you decide to implement this important tip. It's been so amazing to witness how fast things have been manifesting into my life, how fast I've been making friendships that are literally in alignment with me, how fast I've been attracting opportunities that are literally things that I've had on my vision board or things that I've intended for myself, or things where I'm like, wow, this is not just a maybe. This is not just a yes. This is a freaking F yes. And I wanted to share this tip with you. And it's not something that, I'm going to be honest, it took me my entire life to implement it. And specifically in my business, it took me up until very, very recently, maybe in the last 6 months, to really understand this. And at least by listening to this podcast episode, you can open yourself up to this understanding. You can open yourself up to this intellectual understanding, but it's going to take actual implementation and practice and seeing the proof of it coming into your universe to actually implement it on more of an energetic, emotional, just automatic subconscious level. So my tip on how to become a literal desire magnet in your life, just in general, just by you being yourself and not actually doing anything, is in fact being the same person that you are, for instance, online or in public or in front of other people, as you are behind closed doors. Now, this epiphany came to me because recently, I don't know how long you've been following me, and if you even follow me on Instagram. And if you don't, come on over. It's at Manifestation Babe, and there are always things I share on there that I don't share, obviously, on the podcast or even on Facebook. For some reason, I drastically prefer Instagram right now, and Instagram is my thing, and I just freaking love it. And also, I love the story feature where I can just share with you my daily life, and you can actually get to know what my personality is like, what my interests are, and get to know me more on an intimate and personal level. And while I was in Mammoth, I remember like getting ready and putting my ski stuff on, and all of a sudden it hit me where I recognized that there's been a shift between how I've been acting online than how I've been recently than how I've been acting online, maybe even 6 to 12 months ago, and definitely before then. And I decided to go back to my old Insta stories because recently I've had a shift where I am just being myself on a whole nother level, where I am bringing in my really interesting sense of humor and the things that make me laugh and the things I find weird in the world. And people have been getting to know the real me, especially if you've been watching my Insta stories. Like, that's pretty much how I am in my daily life. Brendan and I share funny things, funny insights, how we are. I talk about how we fight and the things we argue about and the things that have gone wrong in our life that day, et cetera, et cetera. And I scrolled back because thank you, Instagram, for having things like the archive, the Insta story archive, and even on my Time Hop. On my Time Hop app, if you guys are not familiar, Time Hop is this app where you can connect your Facebook accounts, you can connect your Instagram accounts and all of your social accounts and even your phone itself, and it will actually go back 1 year in time, 2 years in time, 3 years in time. I think mine has gone back, as early as 6 years ago, because that's pretty much when I started using social, like Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. But it'll literally go back into your phone, go back in time and pull things out that are quote unquote recorded or taken on this day. They call it on this day. And I think Facebook has its own version of it too. And I noticed how freaking stiff I used to be online. Like in my Insta stories, I'd be like, you could just tell I'm wearing a mask and not like intentionally. It's not like I'm trying to be someone else, but it's that I'm so concerned about other people's opinions of me and making sure that I am adding value to the world and making sure that, I'm being professional or respectful or not offending this group of people or making sure I'm not offending that group of people and trying to be so inclusive that I'm not even being myself. And I would look at my new Insta stories and I would recognize that I'm just having fun and I'm being myself. Like I am just talking like myself, cursing like myself. And even on this podcast recently, I recognized some people have been mentioning, and it's not very often. It comes about maybe every so often when it's feedback from someone who doesn't follow me and someone shares my podcast with their audience. And then I always see a comment from someone at least every time that says, I don't like that she curses. I feel like it lowers the vibration of the podcast. It's very offensive to me and I cannot listen to it. And so obviously I recognize that, but also at the same time, I got to be myself. I got to talk like myself. If I don't talk like myself, you guys, it gets freaking exhausting. Where I was last year with this mask on my face of just trying to be so stiff and appeal to everyone and be concerned about that person's perspective of me or those person's thoughts or what will this big influencer think of me or what if I don't get invited back on this podcast and that podcast and blah, 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 blah. Like typical business worries that we all go through, especially if you have an online business. And I just recognize that, like, first of all, that is so freaking exhausting. And second of all, in the last 6 to 12 months, I have definitely repelled people who just don't get me. They just don't vibe with me. They don't understand my style. And that is okay because I believe that everyone has someone that is going to appeal to them. Everyone has that person that they really resonate with and that they're meant to get information or insights or breakthroughs or whatever. I'm obviously referring to like coaches and influencers and mindset people and inspirational accounts right now, just because that's the realm that I am in, personal development. So I can only speak from my experience. But obviously, like they're meant to get information or whatever it is that they need from that person, okay? And not from me. And that is freaking okay because I personally also have moments where I stop resonating with certain people or I just don't resonate with people that millions of other people resonate with. And that is okay because I'm just not meant to resonate with them. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, first of all, there's a lot of fear involved with that. And there's a lot of limiting beliefs involved with that. And there's a lot of like scarcity mindset that comes in where we are so afraid to lose followers and so afraid to lose podcast downloads and so afraid to lose video views and subscribers and listeners, whatever, because we're so afraid of being ourselves. But let me tell you, in the last 6 to 12 months, I have recognized that I have attracted people who are my most ideal people in relationships, in business relationships, in friendships, in opportunities, in just like the people who are now drawn to me. It's like actual people that I want to be around and people who love me for who I am and know that this is what they're gonna get. So if they invite me to go up on stage, or if they invite me on their podcast, or if they ever feature me or shout me out or anything like that, like they know that I'm not gonna shift from being myself. This is as myself as they're gonna get. And if they love me for me, then that's obviously, it's gonna stay consistent like that. And another thing is, first of all, like, yes, I've lost followers. Yes, I have repelled people. And yes, I was very, very fearful of that when I started to switch and be more like myself and actually express my interests and express my desires and express my sense of humor and express my daily life. But guess what? Who would I rather keep around me in my life? The people who love me as the stiffest version of myself that's wearing a mask, or the people who actually embrace me for my gifts, my personality, the way I see the world, my opinions, my beliefs, my values, etc., etc. And I believe, because I come from the belief that we were all created by some higher power or some higher force out there in the universe, by the universe itself. And I believe that we were all designed to be a very particular way, okay? The gifts that you have, the personality that you have, even the way that you look, your sense of humor, your perspectives, your perceptions, the way you see the world, your experiences, like every single life experience that you've ever had, it has all been designed to make you you. And people were always meant to know this side of you. Okay? This side of you is the side of you that everyone was always meant to know. And unfortunately, most of us are only revealing the side of us to our families or to our closest friends. And it's no wonder, like for instance, something I recognize is my closest friends laugh at my jokes. My closest friends think I'm funny. My closest friends see me in a very, very certain way that makes them love me so much more and makes them pretty much obsess over me. And that's why we're best friends. And that's why we hang out every day, right? And I recognize, like, holy crap, in order to create more of that cult following or more of that super engaged audience or more of that super engaged, loyal customer base, I gotta act the way I act around my friends, except around everyone. And this is the side of you, the most naked, authentic, vulnerable side of you is the side of you that's connected to your divine channels of abundance. And it is the thing that makes you magnetic to others. And let me tell you, by being magnetic to others, because there are two poles of a magnet, right? You have the positive side and the negative side. And you know how, for instance, in magnets, opposites attract, but then the same sides repel each other. But take that information out of your head for just a second and think about like attracts like. Okay, so there's two sides of the magnet. Let's say that like attracts like. So you will automatically attract everyone who's just like you, who appreciates you, who loves the naked, authentic, vulnerable, transparent version of you, the one that's honest and blunt and just the one that's you behind closed doors. And of course, you're going to repel the other side. Of course, you're going to repel the people that don't appreciate you. But guess what? They were never meant to be in your life in the first place. They were never meant to buy from you. They were never meant to follow you. They were never meant to be part of your journey. Not that there's something wrong with them, you guys. Not that you're better than them or they're better than you or whatever. It's literally the fact that there are opportunities, there are channels of abundance, there are friends, followers, etc., that were divinely meant for you. And the moment you take off the mask, okay, the moment you are free free of needing to put on a mask, and you are just living your most authentic, truthful life, you will receive everything that you want to receive. Okay, it is crazy how much of a magnet you will become, and I have become, by implementing this important tip. Okay. Do I believe that there are, appropriate times or inappropriate times to act a certain way? Right? Of course I do. Absolutely. I'm speaking very generally here. Okay, so yes, of course, like if you're going into an interview, if you're going into a meeting of sorts, like you're not just gonna come in and act sloppy and crack inappropriate jokes and et cetera, et cetera. Maybe that's your style. I know for me that even if I don't wear my mask, that's just not my style, right? I adhere to some sort of social rules and every now and then, just because if I do so, that will help me get the outcome that I need on the other side. Okay, there's a difference between putting on a mask on and acting stiff and completely changing the way you talk and completely changing the way you dress and completely changing the way that you behave. And there's a difference between you just altering just a little bit and acting like yourself, but in a more appropriate context, depending on if it's appropriate or inappropriate, right? Does that make sense? So, anyway, the point of this podcast really is for you to, if you need permission, right? I don't believe you need permission to do anything in life, but if you need someone to tell you, girl, you need to take your mask off, okay? You need to just be yourself and know that people will appreciate you and love you for who you are the moment that you love and appreciate yourself for who you are. And I know it's scary at first to really reveal who you are behind closed doors, but I promise you, if you take your mask off, you will realize very quickly how much faster the entire universe opens up to you. All of the money, all of the business success, all of the relationships. This is so important, relationships, by the way. Like, especially if you are manifesting a partner or you're manifesting a best friend or whatever it is, like it is so important that you are yourself, especially important. But anyway, the moment you take your mask off, I want you to see how much faster the entire universe opens up to you. And I challenge you this week. I challenge you this week to post a story on Instagram of you wearing no makeup, literally rolled out of bed, sharing something in your daily life that you would literally text your friend to talk about. Okay. Or just something very like casual, very basic, very just you. Or, if that doesn't work for you, how about you make a post this week? Or you make an Insta story or a podcast, depending on, who you are and in which ways you share your unique message in this world. I want you to open up about something that you believe or you value or you don't agree with others on, or share your unique perspective, or do something that makes your heart absolutely race because you are so afraid that you're going to get a negative comment or you're going to get negative feedback or you're going to get a hater or a troll who comments. But girl, like, come on. There's a delete button and a block button that exists for a reason, and you're not going to die. I want to prove to you that by taking your mask off, you're not going to die. And if I can just be your girlfriend for just a second and share from experience, when you take your mask off, when I took my mask off, my following exploded. And people ask me all the time, like, Calvin, nothing really changed in the way that you're posting. And, sometimes you go like 5 days without posting and there's no difference in what you've been doing on Instagram. But you've grown 20,000 followers in just the last like 5 months. Like, what the hell? What happened? And I strongly believe that this is why it happened. It's because I took the mask off. It's because I allowed you to get to know the real me. And speaking of getting to know the real me, I actually have a podcast episode coming soon about my journey of getting my breast implants out of my body. So I'm getting an explant. I have the surgery date booked in on June 18th of this year. And I just want to share with you guys more about my journey and more about what I'm experiencing, because I know that by me sharing my real daily life and by me showing you that I'm just a real freaking person and what's possible for me is possible for you too. Like, that's really my intention with everything that I do, is I want to open up success for everyone. I want to open up wealth for everyone. I want to show you that if this girl, this super shy, previously shy, previously extremely introverted, never said a word until she was like 12 years old in school. Like I never said a word and never had friends, maybe not until high school. Like I was just such a freaking loner growing up, and how much I have transformed and how much I have received in my life and attracted into my life and the success that I now have. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you. And so just know that there's plenty more podcast episodes coming, and there's plenty more of me coming and plenty more of my journey. And I just want to help you in as many facets of life that I'm capable of helping you with. Okay. Obviously, within the realm of manifestation and mindset and living your best life, because that's really like the point of this podcast. So I'm not going to veer off the deep end and talk about like how to grow bananas in the forest or like something super duper random, or even my chickens and how to raise chickens, even though I know how to do that. And I love my chickens. And I bet you guys didn't know that I actually raised a flock of chickens. And I love them and I named them all, and they're actually at my parents' house right now. I'm at my parents' house. And anyway, getting sidetracked now. See, just being myself. Anyway, so take a screenshot, please, if this episode helped you in any way, shape, or form. Share the link, share this podcast with your friends, your family, anyone who needs me. But more importantly, I want to know what you think. So if you take a screenshot of you listening to this episode right now, post it on your Insta story and tag me, and just let me know what you thought, and let me know that you are going to take on my challenge this week, and you're going to take your mask off and share the real you. And then I want to know, did any opportunities, did anything interesting happen with your life in the same week? Okay. Also, again, if you choose to leave a review, I so appreciate your reviews. I mean, they've made this podcast rank in the top 100 podcasts on iTunes for the last year, really, which is so freaking cool. So I appreciate that so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, when you send me a review, make sure you screenshot it before you actually submit it, because then you can send that screenshot as proof that you left a review to my team. hello@manifestationbabe.com is how you can reach them. And then they will send you a hypnosis recording that I recorded just for you. Okay, so it's a hypnosis recording on how to be a powerful manifester that I really want you to have. And it is my appreciation gift in exchange for you being a loyal listener to this podcast. All right, you guys, have a fantastic, fantastic week. I love you so much, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you absolutely loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on iTunes so that I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't already following me on social media, come soak up the extra inspiration on Instagram by following @manifestationbabe or visiting my website at manifestationbabe.com. I love and adore you so much and can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out there and manifest some magic.